Hi guys, and welcome to Premier Prediction Week 21, where we're back with the Premier League football after the FA Cup last week, and we start with the 12:30 kick-off tomorrow, which is Tottenham versus West Bromwich Albion. And yes, as I've said before, West Bromwich Albion under Tony Pulis, they can make life difficult for you. Arsenal found that out a couple of weeks ago. That they will park the bus. They will sit back and they'll frustrate you, put a brick wall in front of all the strikers and stuff like that. But I just expect Tottenham to be too strong for them. Massive confidence for Tottenham beating Chelsea 2-0 a couple of weeks ago. So I fancy Tottenham to win this game. I'm going to go Tottenham 2, West Brom 0. But I do fancy West Brom to give them a bit of a tough game. So those 2 goals are not going to come easy for Tottenham by all means. We then go to the 3 o'clock kickoffs, and we start with Swansea versus Arsenal. Not a great fixture for Arsenal over the years. Obviously, Arsenal's got a couple of wins under their belt. Obviously, we beat West Bromwich Albion and we beat Crystal Palace on New Year's Day. Then we had a dreadful game, well, should I say, dreadful 70 minutes against Bournemouth, where we found ourselves 3-0 down against Bournemouth. Can you believe that, guys? 3-0 down against Bournemouth. They did fight back for the last 20 minutes and got themselves back to 3-3. Bournemouth could have made it 4-3, and then Arsenal right at the end could have made it 4-3. So I think on the whole, both teams were probably going to be satisfied with 3-3, even though Bournemouth were probably a lot more pissed off than Arsenal was on the night, even though I was very, very, very pissed off for 70 minutes. So going on to the Swansea game, obviously Arsenal getting absolutely run ragged against Preston last week in the first 45 minutes of the FA Cup. At Deepdale did come back and showed strong character and beat them 2-1 in the end. I'm expecting a very similar kind of result tomorrow. So I am going to go Swansea 1, Arsenal 2. I do expect Swansea, to give us a really hard game. They're going to have some chances, and the way Arsenal are performing at the moment, Swansea are going to try and take some of those chances. So that's why I say I expect a very, very similar kind of game to the Preston one, but hopefully we have the same outcome as well. So just to clarify, that is Swansea 1, Arsenal 2. We then have West Ham versus Crystal Palace, a London derby if you like. Both teams that are struggling at the moment. Obviously Crystal Palace have anointed Sam Allardyce as their manager. Hopefully they can get a couple of signings in just before the January transfer window closes. Obviously there's the talk of Payet wanting to leave West Ham. He's not performing under Billac at the moment. So is that going to affect West Ham's mentality? As I say, they haven't been at their best this season. So could rumours like that make them even worse, put them all over the place? We'll just have to wait and see. Because it's a derby, I'm going to go for a tight draw. I'm going to go West Ham 1, Crystal Palace 1. And also that is kind of a relegation battle as well. So again, I've gone for another relegation team to draw. Typical, isn't it? We then have Watford versus Middlesbrough. Watford, completely different team this year. Nowhere near as good as it was last year. Really, in one way, I'm really disappointed. To be honest, it's well, I say it's disappointing. I say disappointing, but I thought the way they were last year, it looked like they were going on to progress and they were on to bigger things. They could have maybe got in the Europa League this year, but or maybe even a good decent cup run. Right, okay, they have got the FA Cup. Are they still in the FA Cup? Someone might clarify that. But, they've just been very poor this season. Middlesbrough, on the other hand, they look like they haven't missed a beat, from the Premier League, been missing for 8 years. But, no, they've showed no sign of being fearful or anything like that. They've been really strong this year. Had a couple of unlucky results, but I do fancy them to have quite a strong game in this one. I'm going to go Watford 1, Middlesbrough 3. We then have Sunderland versus Stoke. Again, Stoke were just starting to build a little momentum, starting to get, their team gelling and that. Obviously, we spoke about Sunderland this year. They're in a massive relegation battle at the moment. I think this might be the year Sunderland go down. They remind me very much to Aston Villa last season. Aston Villa kept escaping relegation for like 3 or 4 seasons, and then by the time the 5th season came, it was just too much, and they got relegated. And I think that might be the case for Sunderland this year. They've been in the relegation battle for the last 3 or 4 seasons as well, exactly the same as Villa, and they've been getting away with it. having great escapes and stuff like that. But not this year for me. I think this year Sunderland are going to go, to be honest. And I do fancy, and also with Jermaine Defoe being rumoured to go to West Ham as well. If they do let Jermaine Defoe go, I think that's definitely they've just sealed their relegation, to be honest. So we'll just have to see how that one goes. On the game wise, I do fancy Stoke to nick this one. I'm going to go Sunderland 0, Stoke 1. We then have Burnley versus Southampton, and again Southampton might be growing in confidence after beating Liverpool in the League Cup on, I think it was Wednesday. On Wednesday they looked very strong against Liverpool, and obviously they got the win. I spoke about Burnley this year. Burnley again, they won't make things easy for you. It is at Turf Moor as well. It's a bit of a nasty place to go. The crowd, very passionate crowd. So I'm going to go for a 1-1 in this one. I'm going to go Burnley 1, Southampton 1. I think Southampton will probably be happy with that result, to be honest. As I say, it's a horrible place to go, Turf Moor. So I'm going to go for a draw. We then have Hull versus Bournemouth. I'm very pleased to announce that Jack Wilshere was named Bournemouth's December Player of the Month. So hopefully he's growing in confidence now. Hopefully he can come back to Arsenal in the summer and be a much better player and help improve our squad, even though he's rumoured to go to Everton at the moment. I do expect Bournemouth to be too strong for Hull. Again, they've been struggling. Sacked Mike Phelan as well during since the time we haven't spoke since New Year's Day or New Year's Eve even. So Mike Phelan's gone. So I fancy Hull 0, Bournemouth 2. We then have the 5:30 kickoff, which we have Leicester versus Chelsea, and I expect Chelsea to have a good comeback after losing to Tottenham, and I expect them to be too strong for Leicester, even though it is at Leicester. I'm going to go Leicester 1, Chelsea 3. We then go to the Sunday kickoffs, and we start with 1:30 kickoff, Everton versus Manchester City. Really looking forward to this game, to be honest. Again, Everton don't make it easy for you. They will make it very difficult. They will have a couple of chances, and as it's at home as well, another passionate ground. Ronald Koeman's definitely going to try and sort out the way they've been playing at the moment, because I do think they've not been playing too bad, but just not getting the results, to be honest. And I think that's going to be the case again for Sunday. I'm going to go Everton 1, Manchester City 2. And to end the weekend, we have at 4 o'clock Manchester United versus Liverpool. And again, how Jose Mourinho is going to set up. He's going to try and frustrate Liverpool, and not go all guns blazing out. So it's probably not the best game to look forward to at the weekend, to be honest. And I just fancy a tight draw in this one, like the one that we had at Anfield back in October. So I'm going to go Man U 1, Liverpool 1. I do fancy goals in this one. So that's been my predictions for this week, guys. And just to get away from the predictions for a minute, very sad to hear the news of Graham Taylor passing away yesterday at the age of 72. Not sure what he died of, or if he was suffering due to illness or anything like that. But it was very sad to hear, and may he rest in peace. So thank you for watching his prediction, guys, and I will see you next week for next week's predictions. Thank you for watching, guys.